Hi, I'm Sean Miller, Director of Production Arts for Northview Church, and I am so excited to be a part of WFX this year. As a previous attendee, I know the importance of conferences like this for churches. The opportunity to learn and grow together helps make us all become more effective, especially knowing that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but can adapt what we learn at WFX to our own individual circumstances and church cultures. One key element that we all have in common is that our churches will never have enough staff to effectively do the work we've been called to do. No matter our size or our budget or our style, we will rely on volunteers. For that, I am honored to have been asked to teach the Managing Volunteers course this year, as it's something I am very passionate about. My primary focus here at Northview is managing our production staff, but moreover our volunteers. This small army of dedicated people serve week after week with excellence and determination, knowing that their sacrifice of time and energy has a huge impact on the kingdom. However, getting that army of sold-out volunteers is not always easy, and can oftentimes become overwhelming. There is no autopilot feature for growing and maintaining your volunteer force, and managing volunteers is a full-time job, believe me. I'll focus on what I think are the 4 key elements for effective volunteer teams. First is recruiting, then training, then retaining, and saying goodbye. As I consult and talk with churches across the country, I would say the #1 question I receive is, how do I get more volunteers? This seems to be a daunting task, and it doesn't need to be. In fact, this first step of recruiting really can be your easiest. Getting people in the door isn't hard. It's keeping them after that initial contact is made and getting them plugged in. So I'll share the lessons I've learned and am still learning as we find better ways to orient and train new members coming on the team. We don't want our overall level of excellence to nosedive because we're training on the fly. That is not fair to the trainee who is stressing out at that time, or to the congregation experiencing a subpar weekend. As our churches grow, the need to constantly be bringing in new volunteers is always there. The more we have, the more we can do, and the less we ask of everyone else as a whole. So after someone joins the team and is trained, you go into what I call the retention phase of management. We'll talk about practical ways to keep them from burning out, feeling used, and becoming stagnant. And finally, sometimes you have to say goodbye. Oftentimes, while sad, it's for good reasons, like a volunteer moving for a better job or to be closer to family. But sometimes, it's not so good. Maybe a volunteer has become divisive and is poisoning the entire team. We'll talk about ways to effectively work through team conflict for a hopeful, healthy outcome. This time together should be fun, filled with your questions, and I'll also be giving you tangible resources to take back to your teams so that the learning doesn't stop after the class. I look forward to seeing you in Dallas this October.